Did you know? Elementals played a major role in the story of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor. Both Lorwyn and Shadowmoor block, which consisted of 4 sets, printed over 100 unique elemental cards. These 2 mini-blocks took place on the same plane that had 2 cycles, one of perpetual midsummer and peace known as Lorwyn, and one of perpetual night and gloom known as Shadowmoor. The sets expanded upon a new card type introduced in Future Sight called Tribal. One of the tribes was Elemental. As for the elemental creatures, Lorwyn and Shadowmoor came with 2 types. They were the humanoid-looking Flamekin and the otherworldly Greater Elementals. The Flamekin are a semi-nomadic tribe of elementals made of stone and constant flame. However, Lorwyn was not the first set to introduce the Flamekin elemental. It was actually Ravnica block that featured Flamekins for the very first time. But these elementals only had Flamekin in their card name and the words flame and kin as a hyphen in between them. Only 3 Flamekin elementals were printed in Ravnica, while Lorwyn had much more. The most popular Flamekin was Ashling. Printed as a red creature in Lorwyn, Ashling the Pilgrim was searching for a greater elemental. She later met a gilt-leaf elf named Riss, who was an apprentice of an ancient treefolk named Kolfinor, and had previously encountered the greater elemental Ashling was seeking. Ultimately, her adventure led to a confrontation with a Kithkin known as Brigid, hero of Kinsbale. Ashling was doused in water and abducted by Brigid, and then placed under the custody of Kolfinor. As Ashling's flame was slowly being extinguished, the greater elemental she sought finally caught up to her and rekindled her flame. The Flamekin's elemental fueled fire engulfed Kolfinor. However, Kolfinor had planned his demise from the start, as all of his knowledge and consciousness was passed down to a sapperling treefolk to ensure her survival for when the Great Aurora came. Ashling's story continues in Shadowmoor, but this time she became a being far more powerful than her former self. During the Great Aurora that transformed Lorwyn into Shadowmoor, Ashling became known as the Extinguisher or Destroyer to other races. During this period, all of the Flamekin elementals were changed to Cinders. As their name suggests, Cinders lost their ability to hold a constant flame, making them skeletal, smoky versions of their former selves. The Cinders blamed their cursed transformation on Ashling. Eventually, Ashling transformed back to a normal Flamekin. As for Lorwyn's greater elementals, they are far different looking than the humanoid Flamekin. These beasts are described as ethereal manifestations of concepts, or dreams resembled in the form of abstract animal elements. When looking at the artwork of these greater elementals, you can see how bizarre they are. As a matter of fact, the artwork ended up being so strange that the original art for 3 greater elemental cards in Lorwyn were swapped. Originally, the art for Shriekmaw was supposed to depict what is now shown on the art of Ingatture. As for Ingatture, well, that card's original artwork was Aethersnipe. And Aethersnipe originally had the art that is now on Shriekmaw. So what was behind the big switch? After the final art came in, Wizards of the Coast decided to swap them to fit the functions on the cards more closely. And from what we can tell, the decision seems spot on. The keyword mechanic Evoke was introduced in Lorwyn. Exclusive to elementals, the ability has an alternative casting cost, but the creature would be immediately sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. Fortunately, every elemental from Lorwyn with the Evoke mechanic has an enter the battlefield trigger, while every elemental with Evoke from Morningtide, the set after Lorwyn, has a leaves the battlefield effect trigger. One of these elementals was Mulldrifter. Before being a staple in the Commons Only format Pauper, Mulldrifter was played in a Reveillark combo deck back when it was in Standard. The combo was very intricate and needed cards such as its namesake, Body Double, Mirror Entity, and any creature with 2 power and an enter the battlefield ability. Mulldrifter, with its triggered ability of draw 2 cards when it enters play, was a perfect way to continuously draw cards. While Aven Riftwatcher from Planar Chaos was a way to gain a substantial amount of life. Its kill card was Riftwing Cloudskate from Time Spiral. This creature, with its ability to return a permanent to its owner's hand, would leave the opponent's board completely empty. So, how does the combo work? Well, it's very complicated, and we don't have the time to discuss it here. But you can easily search for Reveillark combo deck online, and you will most certainly find it. Another greater elemental worthy of note is Flickerwisp. Printed in Eventide, Flickerwisp was played in several early iterations of Legacy, Death, and Taxes. Its ability to flicker any permanent, whether it be a land, enchantment, or creature, made a versatile tool in the Death and Taxes engine. Not only is an elemental played in Legacy, it also sees play in Modern. In 2008, Hall of Famer Luis Scott Vargas piloted an extended elf combo deck that ran one Regal Force to a Pro Tour championship. Regal Force was also played in Legacy Elves decks thanks to tutor effects and dinky mana-producing elves that can quickly summon the 7/7 creature to refill the player's hand. Even some Modern Elves decks play the green behemoth, but their strategy was slower. For a time, Regal Force was in high demand and had a hefty price tag, but when Eternal Masters released in 2016, its price tanked. Even though it is now fairly affordable to run Regal Force in competitive or casual decks, its playability has not diminished. Today, the green fatty still sees some play in Legacy and Modern Elves. Several years after Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, Elementals returned in the second edition of Modern Masters 2015. Among the 21 Elemental cards reprinted was Fulminator Mage. A Cinder from Shadowmoor, Fulminator Mage took about a year after Modern was introduced before becoming a mainstay in several of the format's top decks. Why did it take so long? Shortly after Modern's introduction as an official format, several bannings were announced. This was when decks that revolved around non-basic lands started to emerge, with the most prominent being Tron. Using the trio of Urza lands that were printed in 8th and 9th edition, Tron quickly assembles its Voltron to cast giant fatties like Emrakul, Karn Liberated, and Ulamog. Since the ability on Fulminator Mage destroys any target non-basic land, it was a great creature to disrupt the mana base of Tron decks and the other mana-heavy strategies. Another elemental reprinted in Modern Masters 2015 was Horde of Notions. This legendary elemental from Lorwyn became a popular general and commander thanks to having all 5 colors in its casting cost. It also came with an ability that recurs any elemental card from its owner's graveyard. That's all we got on Elementals for this episode. Make sure to subscribe and visit Gathering Magic to watch more episodes of Did You Know Magic? This has been Booster Tutor. You can check out my videos at youtube.com/boostertutor and follow me on Twitter at @booster_tutor. Thanks for watching.